welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way.
Before kickoff, let's send it down to the field and check in with Aaron Andrews.
Well, Joe, as you know, Russell Wilson told us that right ankle got better all week long, but during pregame, his offensive coordinator, Darrell Bevell, said his mobility today is still a concern, and because of that, they want to keep him in the pocket. He told me they don't want him roaming around at all. Wide receiver Doug Baldwin did tell me he stressed to his offense that ball is going to come out quick today, and yards after the catch will be huge for us. Joe?
That is high-fashion camouflage she's wearing down there on the field. Thank you, Aaron. We'll see how that right ankle holds up here early.
And one thing about it, though, if you're going to stay in the pocket, then you're putting a lot of pressure on that offensive line, and it's a line that came into the year as a bit of a question mark and exited last week as a bit of a question mark.
See the Hall of Famers who light the torch here at the LA Memorial Coliseum. Names like Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk was down there, Orlando Pace, who just went into the Hall of Fame this past summer, the great Jack Youngblood, Tom Mack, and Jackie Slater. They're in their Canton Yellow Blazers. And off we go. Seattle won the toss. They defer. Rams get it. Football's back in LA. And Benny Cunningham will back his way out of the end zone in the first drive for Case Keenum and this offense that is wearing that throwback look for the Rams. Well, they couldn't get anything going on Monday night against the 49ers. Got to be better here this afternoon.
Well, I'm anxious to see how he starts this game. He admitted that last Monday night he just overthought the game too much. Even when he was out on the field, saw some ghosts, and I know what that means. And for the viewers at home, sometimes it feels like there's 12, 13 defenders on the field, and that was the case for Keenum. And trying to get him to relax and just settle into some type of rhythm is going to be important here early in this game.
This was the worst ranked offense in the NFL last season. Keenum, as you saw, went 3-2 as a starter. He starts with a throw, and the first pass a completion. That's Lance Kendricks, a gain of 4. And this defense has been good and good for a long time. The last 4 years, they are #1 across the NFL in opponents' points per game and opponents' yards per game, and that's what they did last year.
They're tough across the board. They got a lot of veteran players who have been in this system a long time. They execute it well. They're not real complicated in what they do. It's a tough team to move the ball against.
Play action, pass caught. Britt, he shook one tackle and is going to fight to about a 1.5 yards shy of a first down. It's been a while for Jeff Fisher. For the organization, the Rams, their last winning season, 2003 under Mike Martz, they went 12-4, went to the playoffs that year, lost in double overtime to Carolina. For Jeff Fisher, he doesn't have any winning season since 2008. 27, 37, and 1 in 4+ years now with the Rams. 3rd and 1. Three straight throws and a first down as Kenny Britt makes a diving catch for 7 at the 40.
Well, it's a good start. Last week, you think of what they did on 3rd down, just 3 of 15, and that's why they weren't able to sustain any drives. First 3rd down of the game, it's a manageable down and distance. Kenny Britt on a slant route, gets the inside on Deshaun Shedd. Good execution.
Hey, 54! Here we go. Okay, 5-4. Slide.
Still nothing from Gurley. Kendricks underneath, and this one is thrown out of the reach of Tavon Austin. Made the grab, but out of bounds. That was open. He had both Kendricks under and Tavon Austin deeper, and Keenum missed.
Well, what they tell you as a quarterback, don't bypass the first open receiver, and when he came out, it was a good call by offensive coordinator Rob Boris. The misdirection, you get a fast-flowing defense like Seattle overreacting. He comes out on the boot. Should have been a completion to one of those two guys.
2nd and 10.
Hey. Come on.
Finally, Gurley, right side, trying to get to the edge, and a good play made by Chancellor. And a flag comes in at the end of the play. Looked like a face mask, maybe on the tackle. Cam Chancellor made the tackle.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Defense, number 31. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's a good call. He's got his hand clearly on the face mask, and so the Rams are able to pick up some key yards right here. You know, one thing that Seattle's going to do is they're going to have Cam Chancellor up around the line of scrimmage. The Rams are accustomed to seeing that. You see Todd Gurley in the year that he had last year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. It all runs through him, and Seattle's going to do everything they can to stop that. They've got to be able to make some plays down the field in the passing game, something that's been very hard for them for the last year.
Keenum protected. Pass caught. Austin inside the 30. And a good sign for the Rams to get number 11 downfield.
Well, they have him cross the formation in the intermediate zone. They clear it out with the outside receivers, and it gives Austin some room to operate. And you know, that's what the Rams need to see more of from him. So many of his completions are at or behind the line of scrimmage. He's good in space, but for him to become one of the elite receivers, which they're paying him to be, he's got to start making some plays down the field.
Hand off to Gurley. And after his initial run, which went backward for 2, this one loses 1 as Michael Bennett, big number 72, sticks his face in there and makes the play.
Michael Bennett is still waiting on that contract, and I know he's not happy about that. He's a heck of a player. I mean, he can do it all. He plays the run like we saw. He's an excellent pass rusher. He can play outside. He can play inside. One of the real dominant players in our game.
It's like he's still waiting on shoulder pads. Those are the smallest pads for any lineman I've ever seen. Here's the 7th play of this opening drive. Good start for the Rams. Pass caught. Kendricks down to the 21. 3rd and short coming up. Bobby Wagner on the stop, the 2-time Pro Bowl middle linebacker. And Keenum's been spreading it around and pretty decisive so far.
Pretty decisive, and he's getting the ball out, and that's the real key. It sounds good when you come into a game saying, hey, we're going to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands because of this pass rush. But to do that, it means receivers have to get open, and they've given him places to go with the football. And this has been a nice drive by Case Keenum, establishing some of the rhythm that we talked about.
3rd down and 3. Keenum incomplete. Kendricks the target. It's 4th down, and Greg Zuerlein, the kicker, will come on, trying to rebound from a down year in 2015 when he went 20 for 30. Good start to the drive, but it stalls inside the 25. 39-yard try on a hot day.
I tell you, Jeff Fisher's been known to try some trick plays in the special teams game. I think he'll kick it here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't.
You get the sense that's coming at some point. Drilled by Greg Zuerlein. And the first possession for the Rams back in LA. Nets 3. Seattle will get the ball when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Well, here at the LA Memorial Coliseum, it is hot today. It's over 90 degrees. It is baking down on that field, and so you get creative. You find people to hold up long tables or pieces of plywood or cardboard and create some shade over on the bench. Good drive for the Rams, 54-yarder. Their longest on Monday against the 49ers on the road was 53, and they lead 3-0. Russell Wilson will start at the 25. Well, Russell Wilson, the numbers are terrific. 65 regular season starts. He's gone 47-18. That winning percentage is the 5th best in the history of the league, behind names like Stabler and Brady and Staubach and Jim McMahon. Yet that top number, 4-4 against the Rams, is surprising.
You know, it's just a Rams defense that's built a lot like what Seattle is in their style. They run the ball, they play great defense, they're dominant along that defensive line, and it's going to be a real challenge for the Seattle offensive front to protect Russell Wilson today.
Rawls gets it to start the day, and great penetration by William Hayes. And a loss of 2.
Here he is, left defensive end. He just is able to split 2 guys trying to get hands on him, and he comes off and makes a heck of a play right in the backfield. It's like I said, this defensive front, William Hayes, they couldn't say enough good things about him. Of course, Aaron Donald, and then this year they get Robert Quinn back coming off the back surgery. So that's a formidable group for the Rams.
2nd and 12, Rawls left side. Draws a crowd. And a loss on the play. And there's Aaron Donald to clean it up. But he wasn't the first there. A loss of 9.
You just see they're just beat at the line of scrimmage. The linemen are in the backfield, and you've got Alec Ogletree who scrapes off the edge. Aaron Donald there to help finish him off.
And a player is down for LA. I think it's Michael Brockers, who just signed a 3-year extension. What a play that was. What a start for this Rams defense as they come out flying around. 3rd and forever when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's.
3rd down and 21. You look at the injury. Watch the left arm of Brockers as Josh Forrest lands on it. See how the Seahawks want to play this.
Go! Yahtzee! Hey! Go!
Screen it. Kristen Michael. And they just get some of that initial yardage back. As they went backward trying to run the ball on the first 2 plays. A gain of 7. It's 4th down.
Yeah, this is a screen play. Russell Wilson at the end of this play takes a pretty good hit. They're just not going to be able to protect him on some of these things. He's not going to be able to protect himself. They run the screen pass in order to just try to help out this punt, help with field position. It was a good defensive series by the Rams.
John Ryan. 3 and out to start the day for Seattle. And Austin will stay away. Good starting field position for Los Angeles as they will mark this one at the 39. Rams have the ball in a 3-point early lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
3-0 game. Rams have it for the 2nd time, and they'll start this drive at their own 39. Not much Gurley on that first possession. It was Keenum.
Hey, I'm going.
Finding Kendricks and Austin. See if they get Gurley going on this drive. Instead, it's Austin on the handoff. Outruns Clark. Nice gain of about 8.5. Before the game, 5th-year head coach Jeff Fisher. A handshake for the owner of this Rams organization, Stan Kroenke. He was a part of the ownership group for Georgia Frontiere. She passed away. Stan Kroenke stepped up, bought the rest of the organization, and the declaration was made in January that they were coming back to Los Angeles, leaving St. Louis after being there from 1995 to 2015. 2nd down and 2. Handoff is to Gurley, trying to get him started, and he is knocked down right at the marker. Pretty good spot by the line judge. And we'll see if they give a 1st down.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
You get the left tackle, former number 2 overall pick Greg Robinson, for a hold.
Right here at the left tackle position, and as Frank Clark's trying to work through him, he gets the hold, so it sets the Rams back now, 2nd and long. Frank Clark is one of those guys, boy, the coaches are talking very highly of, and he's going to get more opportunities. Played really well last week in that win against the Miami Dolphins, and just a very active, high motor guy, just like all of these guys are.
2nd and 12, and Austin was open. Case Keenum overshot him. 3rd and 12.
You know, in visiting with Case Keenum, as we see the route, it was really a good release against Richard Sherman. Not easy to do, but Case Keenum, when we visited with him the other day, Joe, he said 2 nights before the game on Monday night, he was at the facility until 9 p.m. studying film and just trying to leave no stone unturned, and he just overworked himself, over-prepared, and it's a fine line. And when we saw him this past Friday, he said he was going home right after our meeting. He was going to go hang out, you know, at his house and try to relax a little bit.
Here underneath to Benny Cunningham, a long way to go, and a nice tackle is made by Jeremy Lane. A gain of 7, and that will bring up 4th down. So far, it's been a lot through the air and not much into the arms of Todd Gurley. You expect that to change, the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times that's what happens. You try to, you know, you come into a game against Seattle. They're very good against the run. Heck, they're good against the pass too, but they know what your game plan is with Todd Gurley, and you try to soften them up early in the games with some passes and get them running and moving a little bit. That's what Rob Boris has done.
Becker punts it end over end. Lockett with a fair catch at the 20. So the Seahawks have it for the 2nd time. Opening quarter, 3-0. LA on top. Todd Gurley's carried it 1 time for -1 yard. Rams lead at 3-0. Seahawks have it for the 2nd time. And they start at their own 19.
Hey, go. Hey, go.
4-man rush out of the backfield. Pass is caught. What a hit. Mark Barron just laid out Thomas Rawls, a gain of 2. A painful 2 yards for Thomas Rawls.
You observe Russell Wilson and how is he moving, and to me, Joe, when you watch him, he's being real careful with the ankle. It looks like it is giving him some troubles, and you're right, Barron comes up and just lays the whammy on him, and you know what a job he did last year when they moved him into that position. Excellent player.
Here's Wilson. He keeps it on that read option, and he'll lose yardage as Westbrooks and Aaron Donald are there to tap him down. A loss of 2. And this Seattle offense is trying to get kick-started.
A little different job than I asked Russell when we visited with him yesterday. Hey, now do you have any sympathy for us pocket passers? You know, that couldn't run and get out of the pocket and escape the way that he can. And certainly affects one of the real strengths for him.
Slam, slam. Hey, go. Slam, slam. Hey, go.
3rd down and 10. Flag is down. Pass is incomplete. And it's an offside against LA. Russell Wilson will get another crack at 3rd down.
Lining up in the neutral zone, outside, defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
It's not that exciting to talk about an offensive line coach, but Troy, there's a lot on Tom Cable trying to move all these pieces up front. They don't have Max Unger, obviously. They traded him a year ago for Jimmy Graham. They don't have J.R. Sweezy. Russell Okun is now in Denver. They have pieces moving all over up front.
A lot of new faces up front as well. In addition to just moving them around, and they just feel that Tom Cable is going to be the guy who helps pull it together.
3rd down and 5. Quick throw. Pass caught. 1st down. Out to the 30-yard line. A gain of 6. And Doug Baldwin, who has been on fire since week 10 a season ago, is there to make the grab.
Yeah, he comes out, he signs a big contract, he goes out there, gets 9 catches last week, shows that the contract's not going to affect him. And Tom Cable, who we talked about, he's absolutely terrific as an offensive line coach, and you know, I think all the moves that they make is a reflection of how much they think of him.
Tight formation, pass is caught by Lockett. Everybody bunched near the line of scrimmage except for one, and number 16 is good for 35.
Well, you got Lockett. He's one of the speedsters off the edge, and hard to cover one-on-one. Cody Sensabaugh not able to do it, but watch Russell Wilson. He holds his safety. You see his head turn immediately, but dropping back, he keeps the safety in the middle of the field and then works back and throws a strike up the sideline.
Hey, what's your saying?
From the 34, and whistles stop it.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Bradley Sowell, who is now the starting left tackle after a really good one. Russell Okun moved on to the Denver Broncos.
So to follow up on that offensive line, Joe, 6 of the 9 linemen that they kept are new from a year ago. And for a contending team, that's almost unheard of in this league, to have a team of the caliber of Seattle not to have more carryover and continuity from last year's group.
Hey, man.
Flags again.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's left guard Mark Glowinski. Here's week 2 from a year ago. Okun, Britt, who's now the center. Nowak, Sweezy, who is gone. And Gary Gilliam. And now here this year, it's Sowell, Glowinski, Britt's moved to center. His third different spot, Jamarcus Webb playing in place of the injured Fetty. Their first-round pick, and Gary Gilliam.
It's a compliment to Tom Cable, but even more of a compliment to Russell Wilson.
First and 20. Wilson steps through. And he slides down. That'll draw a flag. Alec Ogletree hit him as Russell Wilson went into the slide.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 52. Blow to the head of a sliding quarterback. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You see Ogletree size him up, and as he starts in, I don't like the call. I mean, they've asked the quarterbacks to start their slide earlier, and rather than wait until just before they get up on the defender, and Ogletree's coming in, and it's a shoulder to shoulder. It's not to the head or neck area. I think that's a bad call.
5-yard carry plus a 15 yards on the penalty. And a first down at the 24. Wilson wide open underneath Lockett. And Tyler Lockett good for 7.
Well, they had some penalties there along that offensive line. They get them backed up. Pretty advantageous situation for this Rams defense, and yet Seattle able to keep this drive going. So from where they started to get down into this position, this has been a good drive.
The Rams last week against San Francisco, 10 penalties for 102 yards. Second and 3, handoff to Michael. And Kristen is brought down, it looks like, with enough for a first down. But no signal yet. It is. Tremaine Johnson, a real good corner for the Rams, made the stop. You know, you talk about the Rams defense that's been really good in building, but they do have 5 guys that are no longer on this defensive side of the ball, and some real leadership that's gone as well. We'll go through that in a second. First down. There's Rawls. A lot of blue jerseys and back to the line of scrimmage. But there's no Akeem Ayers, there's no Chris Long, there's no James Laurinaitis, who's now in New Orleans, no Rodney McLeod now in Philly, and no Janoris Jenkins, who's got 10 career interceptions, 5 touchdowns. He's now with the Giants, so it remains to be seen how this defense comes together this season.
Well, that's a good point. I would say that the defensive front, you know, they're going to continue to be dominant, and they have owned the line of scrimmage here in the early going of this game.
On second down, Wilson finds a receiver. That's Rawls. Lowers his shoulder and sets up first and goal at the 3. as he went through Sensabaugh. A gain of 11.
Well,
good eyes by Russell Wilson.
Yeah, well, Cam Thomas, he comes right up the middle, and Russ Wilson is able to just avoid him. That's really good work on his part. Then he's under duress, has eyes, knows where his outlets are, and that's the greatness of Russell Wilson in order to buy some time. And now in his 5th year, he knows this offense as well as the coaches do, and he knows where those outlet receivers are.
Play action. And this one's thrown away. But a flag is thrown in the end zone. And right now the indication is offensive pass interference against Seattle.
Pass interference. Offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
They get Jermaine Kearse.
Well, that was thrown not anywhere near where the football was thrown when he threw it away. It was in the middle of the field. That's right here. What they got him, they called Jermaine Kearse for the pick, expecting man coverage, and you know, that was a good call. They could call it just about on every play in every game around the league when you get down to this area.
First and goal, quick throw, Lockett looking for a block or two. Tyler Lockett will take it to the 9, where it will be another penalty flag, and it's another face mask against the Rams.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Defense, number 22. Half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
There's been a personal foul face mask each way. One on Chancellor, and this one on Tremaine Johnson. If the Seahawks want, they can let the first quarter expire. 8 total penalties already between these two sides. First and goal now from the 4. Handoff is to Michael. Nothing. Well played by the Rams. Ogletree lost his helmet. And here in the LA Memorial Coliseum, the flame has been lit. The Rams are back in LA. They lead 3-0 after 1. Back after this from your local Fox station. This drive started for Seattle at their own 19. Russell Wilson has gone 6 for 6 on the drive that has covered just under 7 minutes on the clock. Second and goal.
No, sir.
Looking left all the way. Now back out to his right. Pass incomplete. McDonald in coverage on Will Tukuafu, the fullback, who has to be the last resort for Russell Wilson. Third and goal.
Well, they run the slant route underneath. You got Richardson going to the corner, and I think it was Christian Michael, the running back, who they had coming into the middle of the field, and Russell Wilson trying to work him initially. Just really good coverage by the Rams, and Russell Wilson just simply throws it away.
Hey, solid.
Third down and goal.
Hey, go.
Incomplete, broken up, and a good play made by LaMarcus Joyner. Kearse, the intended target. Fourth down.
Not an easy throw to complete down here because the quarters are so tight, yet this was the pass they threw to Doug Baldwin last week for the game winner, and this time they go to Jermaine Kearse, and ball that was really a little underthrown, and LaMarcus Joyner had a chance to get his hands on that ball, but as good a drive as this was for Seattle and overcome some penalties, nice work by the Rams, making them have to settle for a field goal attempt.
23-yarder is drilled by Hauschka, tie game. 15 seconds into the second quarter. A stadium that has hosted Olympics 2 times, a new category, human hurdling. Jermaine Johnson supplying the effort.
Today's game is sponsored by Burger King, introducing the new Cheetos Chicken Fries, only at Burger King. By Chevrolet, more 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We welcome you back to the Coliseum. Good work by the Rams defense to keep Seattle out of the end zone. Each side able to do that. 3-3 game just underway in the second quarter, and a 14-play drive ends in a chip shot by Hauschka. Corey, you and I were talking about this before the game after being in Dallas last week. This league all about finishing drives.
Well, it sure is, but at least in this one, neither one of them have finished. But you can dominate a game as we saw last week, but if you're settling for field goals, you're just not creating any separation.
So the next drive will start at the 25 for the Rams. College football kicks off Friday when USC takes on Utah, 8:30 Eastern. On FS1 continues Saturday when Boise State battles Oregon State at 3:30 on FS1. Then Oklahoma State faces number 21 Baylor at 7 Eastern on Fox. Beautiful hot day in Southern California. 3-3 game, and here comes Case Keenum and Todd Gurley. No impact from Gurley yet, who had 17 for 47 week 1. Back to the air. Pass is incomplete as Britt lost his footing. Well, all the stars come out, and we saw King James. LeBron James here. Ty Burrell has been part of pregame shows welcoming back the Rams, a team he grew up rooting for, to Tinseltown.
Well, the guy I was excited to see, I saw him on Friday. I see him in Canton back at the Hall of Fame, is Jack Youngblood. As you said, I grew up a big Rams fan, and Jack Youngblood was always one of my guys.
Pass-heavy approach so far for Rob Boris. This time they hand to Gurley. He's good for 4. Brought down by Chancellor, 3rd and 6.
Well, they'll try to get Gurley going a little bit. Well, that's his second carry, I believe. But there's a look at Rob Boris, the offensive coordinator. Took over at the very end of last season. The team went on to win 3 of their last 4 games. He had been coaching tight ends. He thought that he had done a good enough job that he got the full-time job this year. And not what they wanted on week 1, but you know, he's got some weapons to work with, and now it's just a matter of getting the trigger man playing at a little bit more consistent level.
3rd down and 6, and the trigger man pulls the trigger and a drop. Kenny Britt had first down yardage and could not haul it in. 4th down.
And those are just killers, you know, as an offense. Even though they drove down the field earlier and were able to settle for a field goal, when, you know, these 3rd down conversions, and sometimes there's a misnomer. These coaches think when it's 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, they're easy to convert. They're not. And when you get a wide open opportunity to keep a drive going and it's dropped, that's demoralizing.
After a good first drive by the Rams, have gone back-to-back 3-0. Hecker. Best of the game now drives Lockett back around the 20. 52-yard punt, nothing on the return. Seahawks have it again. Tie game in Los Angeles. Seattle has the football inside their own 20 at the 19-yard line, trying to stay cool any way they can on both sidelines on a hot day in Los Angeles. Russell Wilson, bad ankle and all, back to work. Kristen Michael right side. Tackle made by Dominique Easley, former Patriot. He had help. Early game headlines. Jimmy Garoppolo. What a start, except he left the game with a shoulder injury, and that game was ended by Jacoby Brissett, 3rd-round pick out of NC State. Des Bryant hooking up with Dak Prescott and the rookie Sterling Shepard. He looks like a good one. 8 catches, over 100 yards for the Giants, who are 2-0. 2nd and 7. Pass caught. That's Baldwin, and Doug Baldwin is going to be forced out of bounds at the 30 for the Seattle first down. Tremaine Johnson there for LA.
We talked a little bit earlier about Doug Baldwin and the year that he had, and you know, he's one of these guys who's always played with a chip on his shoulder, and I really think the year that he had last year, a little bit like Russell Wilson. You know, I mean, people think that offense is just about running the ball. The quarterback and the receivers don't get a lot of credit, but I think after last year, Doug Baldwin is finally being recognized as really one of the elite receivers in this game.
On On first down, Wilson going to air it out, lock it downfield, pass caught. And a flag is thrown. We'll see who it's against.
It looked to me, Joe, like it might be on Tyler Lockett. From here, it looked like he might have grabbed the corner on his.
And it is against Troy Hill in coverage, but they threw the flag on Lockett.
Pass interference. Offense, number 16. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Oh, yeah. A yank of that left arm.
It was the right hand who got a hold of Troy Hill's left arm. It was actually a good call, and it was a good job of the officials seeing it.
It's a second offensive pass interference against Pete Carroll's crew.
Pete, who's on the opposite sideline, nowhere near the play. He doesn't like the call.
It negates a 40-yard completion, brings up 1st and 20. Wilson slides out of trouble and now slides down. And a gain of 1.
Pretty remarkable, Joe, with Russell Wilson, that the fact that he has never missed a game. And when he came into the league, the concerns were his size. Would he be able to hold up? And yet he's never missed a game. Not only that, he's never even missed a practice. And that's the part that really impresses me, especially in a week like this. Coming off a sprained ankle, it had to have gotten stiff on him, but yet he's out there each day during the week getting ready and letting his players know he's going to be there on Sunday.
Blitz coming. And Michael runs right past it. A big gain on 2nd down and 19. Mark Barron on the tackle after a gain of 12.
Well, LaMarcus Joyner comes on the blitz, but he's not anticipating run. He's more blitzing as a pass rusher, and then Christian Michael goes right underneath him. And you dial some things up sometimes as a defensive coordinator, and just an overrun opens up a huge lane then for a big gain.
Doug Baldwin was involved as the tackle was made, and Baldwin limped off the field a moment ago. 3rd down and 7. Aired out again. This time Richardson, pass broken up. Good coverage by Troy Hill. 4th down.
They take the shot up the field with Paul Richardson, one of their big play receivers who can really get down the field, and Troy Hill's in a pretty good position. But what I like about this as far as Russell Wilson goes is he checked it at the line of scrimmage in order to pick up the guys that were coming for the Rams, so he had proper protection, but just a good played ball by Troy Hill.
Ryan hits it. Austin is going to take it. And he had a hole there for a moment. It closed up fast. 15-yard return, Tyvis Powell on the tackle. The pass breakup. And there was a very unhappy coach on an unfamiliar sideline here at the Coliseum. The entire time the Rams had it.
On Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. Beer with your team on it.
Starting at their own 38, Case Keenum in this Rams offense tie game. Here's Gurley. Gurley out to the 41, picked up 3. Well, the long and winding road that went from Anaheim to St. Louis in 1995. The greatest show on turf. 2 Super Bowls, 1 Super Bowl win. But the last winning season, 2003. Fans got tired of watching it. And the moving vans rolled back into St. Louis, and they headed back out west to where the franchise was from 1946 until 1994. Here's one off the hands of Tavon Austin. It drops to the turf. as Shed tried to close on it and come up with the pick.
Real fortunate there because this secondary is a bunch of ball hawks, but that's another one of those throws that we've seen so many times from Tavon Austin where they throw it at the line of scrimmage, get it out to him quick, let him have some space and see what he can do with it. And he's pretty dynamic with it in his hands. But when you have receivers like that, then that defense starts coming down a little closer and a little closer, and eventually you got to get them off of you with some things downfield.
3rd down and 7. Seahawks wanted a flag for a false start. Instead, it's a big hit on Tavon Austin, and it's Wagner. Austin's a yard short of a 1st down. And we'll see what the Rams want to do. And something you said earlier, pay attention to Johnny Hecker, the punter for the Rams. Nobody fakes more punts than that guy, Jeff Fisher, and he likes what Hecker can do throwing the football.
Well, he likes Hecker. Hecker was a quarterback in high school, so you watch him. He's also the emergency quarterback here for the Rams, and so he's a guy who throws it around in practice. I'd be a little surprised here if they try it.
Straight away, the punt end over end with Lockett. A fair catch inside the 15. 41-yard punt, nothing on the return. Seattle with the football, tied at 3. There's the great John Robinson. It was the Rams head coach, USC head coach, 2 different stints. And a national championship, a co-national championship back in the late 70s. What a coach, what a man. And best friends with John Madden growing up as Rawls carries it for 4. And here is this wonderful guy and tremendous head coach. There's that national championship in 1978. 2 NFC champ games for Robinson with the LA Rams and back with USC. Then some time at UNLV, where he had a young Rob Boris on his staff. He's now the offensive coordinator for the Rams. Here's Rawls. Cut back run, a good tackle. Tackle made by Donald. No gain. Let's go to Kurt with a game break.
All right, Arizona hosting Tampa Bay. Carson Palmer to Larry Fitzgerald, 4-yard score. Number 101 of his fabulous career. Arizona up 10-0 right now. Late in the 2nd quarter. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Old Fitz had a great game week 1 against the New England Patriots, and he's in the end zone against Tampa Bay now. Here's a 3rd and 6.
We haven't called Jimmy Graham's name yet, but he's lined up wide up top. See if they try to get a ball into him.
Baldwin's fine. He's back out there for Seattle. Here's one near sideline, and this will draw a flag as Lockett was interfered with by Troy Hill. And there's 32 again for the Rams. This one looks to be on him.
They kind of have gone after Hill here a little bit, and Lockett, he has a step. The problem for Troy Hill was that it was a ball that was underthrown, and that's hard then on the defensive back.
Defense number 32. Spot of the foul, automatic 1st down.
But Tyler Lockett, he had a good step on Hill, and if Russell Wilson was able to get that out and hit him in stride, nobody's going to catch Lockett.
Lockett can fly. 3rd-round pick out of K-State, was a Pro Bowler for his special teams work a year ago. It's an 18-yard penalty and a 1st down. Play action. Wilson in trouble. Runs into his offensive lineman. Flags all over the place as Quinn is there. There are 2 separate fouls on this play.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding. Offense number 78. Illegal contact. Defense number 22. These penalties all set. Replay. 1st down.
Well, the offensive penalty is Bradley Sowell trying to block Robert Quinn, who just went right by him. That's Tremaine Johnson there. And seems like when the Rams do something well, there's a penalty that nullifies it. But Robert Thomas, he came off the ball so fast, I thought they maybe were getting him for offsides, but he didn't. He just flew right by Sal.
On first down, here's Rawls, and a good play made by Joyner. LaMarcus is not big, 5'8", 184, playing with a broken toe, and he makes the play, no gain.
Yeah, and he makes it against a back who I think is really good. In fact, Thomas Rawls reminds me a lot of Ahmad Bradshaw, who used to play for the New York Giants. Not real big, but extremely physical. And, you know, he showed what he could do last week. They feel like he's 100%, going to get a bulk of the carries here today, but they've been unable to get him going here in this first half.
We're looking at Tyler Lockett on the sideline on 2nd and 10 now. Protection breaks down at the end, and the pass is broken up. Kirsch was the target. Ogletree in coverage. 3rd and 10.
Well, this is Aaron Donald. I mean, he's such a powerful, quick guy. He just splits right between two guys and is right in the face. Anytime as a quarterback, that's what makes Donald so good, when you get the pressure right in the middle. And there's times we've seen Russell Wilson get outside the pocket a little bit and run, but when he's been able to escape wide, he's been reluctant to do it. It's hard to tell really how much the ankle is affecting him, but I've seen him at times stay in the pocket when in the past he would have ran.
3rd down and 10. Rams back out. We're showing blitz. Pass is caught for a first down by Richardson. And a gain of 14 and a first down on 3rd and 10.
Well, they run the inside guy through here, and as Richardson comes off, the inside vertical route is what allows Richardson then to get open, because there's contact with the safety, Maurice Alexander. He's unable to play that out route. That was a well-designed play for the first down.
Handoff is to Rawls, and there is nothing there. The ground game for the Seahawks has yet to get anything going, as Brockers and Easley are there for the Rams. A loss of 1. Brockers is a big man in the middle and a good athlete. 6'5", 326. 14th overall pick back in 2012, and Brockers lost his helmet on the play and still was in on the tackle with Easley.
It always makes me nervous when I see a guy out there without a helmet on.
It should. 2nd and 11.
Razor.
Blitz, quick throw, Rawls. Rawls made a man miss. He went right around Troy Hill, who has been busy defensively for the Rams. Bring up 3rd down after a gain of just a couple. There's our good buddy Gray Williams, who is a creative defensive coordinator, has always been one of the better ones in the NFL.
Well, he'll move people around. He'll take safeties, put them at linebacker like he did Mark Barron last year, and that helped. And he's done a lot of unorthodox things, but he's going to tailor his defensive scheme to what he has available. I think he's one of the best in the business.
3rd down and 9. Blitz, pass, broken up. And so far, this game has been good. 2 really good defenses going toe-to-toe on this lush grass field at the Coliseum. It's 4th down as Ogletree got up and knocked it away.
Ogletree makes a nice play on it, and T.J. McDonald, who was also coming up at the line of scrimmage on a blitz, but once he sees Wilson getting ready to throw, he pulls up trying to get a hand on it also. So the Seahawks have been able to get some drives going, but the Rams have tightened up. Keep this game 3-3 time.
Austin will let it go over his head and into the end zone. So with under 4.5 to go in the opening half in a 3-3 game, the Rams have the football in their new home. Look at the ball control. That's belonged to Seattle. For the Rams offensively, they had that long drive to start. The first possession ended in a field goal. Since then, 3 3 and outs. Gurley just 3 carries, 6 yards. That's it. Keenum gonna air it out. Sideline. Austin not there.
Well, you better get real careful when you start throwing a deep ball like that with Richard Sherman in coverage. He was inside technique, and I think Keenum did the right thing and just get it out of bounds once you see Sherman in coverage. But to go back to the time of possession, yeah, we've seen the Seahawks be able to move the football obviously much better than we've seen from the Rams after that opening drive. So the time of possession in Seattle's favor. Fortunately, the Rams have tightened up when they've had to, but this is an important drive to help give that defense a rest in this heat.
2nd and 10, screen for Gurley with blocking. 1st down and more. Spins his way to the 39. And Earl Thomas drags him down. It's 19 yards on the catch and run.
Well, that timed up really well. Tim Barnes was out there in blocking, and you're able to get Gurley in behind that to pick up a nice gain and the 1st down that they haven't had here in a while.
Two spot. 20.
From the 39, it's Gurley. And Todd Gurley is good for 5. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in a game break.
All right, the San Diego Chargers blew a 21-point lead last week against Kansas City. Might it happen again? They're up by that margin in the 2nd quarter, 21-zip over Jacksonville. Joe, Troy, and Aaron. And Joe, thanks for loaning us Troy this morning, by the way.
Yeah, he did great. All our group was worried he was going to like it too much and not come back.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to try to get down next weekend, too.
2nd and 5. Gurley's getting loose now, and Todd Gurley's got a 1st down inside Seattle territory, good for 8.
You just got to hang with it a little bit, Joe. I mean, it's tough sledding in the early going in a ball game against a defense as good as Seattle's, and you just keep hammering away and slowly start to wear them down, and then some of those 1-yard gains, 2-yard gains turn into 4. So they're not going to give up on Todd Gurley. They're going to continue to feed him the football, and he's going to be a workhorse before this day is over.
Hey, hold.
Play action to him now. Keenum wide open, passes caught Kendricks. And they're going to mark him out of bounds at the 4.
Well, it's good off the play action. You start acting as though you're going to boot out the other end, and you come back across the field with Kendricks, who he gets lost, and that's one area of this Seattle defense. As good as they are, they do have a propensity to give up some big plays at times in the passing game.
2-minute warning after a 44-yarder to Lance Kendricks in a tie game. Rams are finally in the red zone and now looking for their 1st touchdown. 2 minutes left, 1st half.
Push it.
Gurley, Bennett. Michael Bennett makes the play, a loss of 4.
Well, we talked about Michael Bennett earlier. He's hard to keep from making plays when he's blocked, and when you don't put anybody on him and you allow him to come off the line. Gurley, I think, is thinking, isn't somebody supposed to block that guy?
72 should get somebody's attention along an offensive line. Now 2nd and goal, back at the 8. Austin down on a knee, nowhere to go. And the clock is stopped with 1:13, 3rd and goal. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Hall of Famers are here. The great Jack Youngblood.
Big Jack. That was the guy. Jack Youngblood, Fred Dreyer, Nolan Cromwell, Vince Ferragamo, Lawrence McCutcheon. I can name most of them.
Third down and goal here for the 2016 version. Keenum, heavy pressure, pass underthrown. Sherman in coverage on Kenny Britt. And they can't crack the end zone yet.
I think Kenny Britt was thinking it should have been a penalty. There was definitely contact at the top of the route. But this was one of those times where Case Keenum, if he's able to hang in there, we'll take a look at it at the top. There was a grab right at the top of the route, and he fooled Sherman. It was a well-run route. Had him thinking inside. He went to the outside, and then Sherman grabs him, and Sherman got away with one.
No doubt about that. 28-yarder now for Zerline for the lead. (6-3) LA on top. Rams regain the lead with 1:04 left, and Seattle about to get it back.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Show, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys get their first win. The Giants send the Saints to 0-2, and the Patriots tried to win one without Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo. It's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report.
Kurt, guys, thank you. Just down the street here at the LA Memorial Coliseum, a 6-3 game. The Rams on top. Zerline is 2 for 2. We'll get a report here momentarily from Aaron about Tyler Lockett, the electrifying second-year player out of K-State. He is not back to return this kick. Instead, it's Paul Richardson. And so we'll see how Lockett gets along here the rest of the day and if he checks back in. Right now, time left. 3 timeouts on the scoreboard for the Seahawks as they trail by 3. Richardson will try to take advantage of the chance, and he can't make the 15-yard line. And now we'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth. I'm Joe Buck along with Troy Aikman. Sum it up for the world. What have we seen so far?
I don't think it comes as a surprise for either team or really anybody watching this game because of the way these two teams played and what we've seen in the history of the two teams. Both very physical defenses, want to run the football, and it's been a slugfest. And so anyone who came in off of last week's game with the Rams thinking that they're going to have a tough time, I don't think they've been following the series between these two teams. I'm not surprised by anything that's happened through the first 30 minutes of this game.
Each side has 3 timeouts, so opportunity for Jeff Fisher as well if his defense makes a play or two. From the 14. There's Jimmy Graham, the big tight end, has his first catch. They're going to mark him inches short of a first down.
Well, I like that even though Seattle has 3 timeouts with the completion, Russell Wilson continues to operate and not use one of his timeouts in that situation.
Here's one for Graham again, and he's flipped at the 40, and now they've got to use a timeout, which they do with 29 seconds left.
Yeah, now you come back after that completion, you call the timeout, but once you get a defense reeling a little bit, too many coaches, in my opinion, as we see Jimmy Graham going right down the middle, a couple completions now to him. They want to burn that timeout. They're so scared of leaving timeouts on the field that they panic and they use them a little too soon. Thought it was smart by Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevel not using it. Put the pressure on the defense. They get another nice completion to Jimmy Graham before using their first timeout.
17 yards. And Norv Turner just texted me. He's mad at you. He doesn't like it when people like us say burning timeouts. They used the timeout. Yeah. That's what Norv likes to say. There's Darrell Bevel.
Darrell Bevel, who really has really grown, in my opinion, as an offensive coordinator. And I thought last week what he did when Russell Wilson went down, I thought he did some really nice things to protect the young quarterback.
First down here for Seattle at their 40. Pass is right over the middle, caught. That's Curse, and they will use another timeout. 23 seconds left. Don't forget to check out Damon Wayans and Clayne Crawford in Lethal Weapon. Premieres Wednesday right here on Fox. So So now Thomas Rawls, they look at him on the bench. Lockett, we understand his return is questionable with a knee. Meanwhile, for Stephen Hauschka, in case you're wondering, his career long is 58 yards. That would mean getting it about another 11.
They're checking Thomas Rawls over on the sidelines. You see him. He didn't have any setbacks after last week, but it appears that was a significant injury he's overcome. Might be giving him some problems right now.
2nd and 1. Like to keep the timeout for the field goal unit if you can. See if this is to the sideline. That's in the air and incomplete. Again, they need about 11 more yards. Get into the area where Hauschka could tie his career long, and this hit a helmet, it looked like.
Yeah, it hit
Barron.
It hit Mark Barron right in the head.
That's what happens when you can leap about 12 feet into the air. 3rd down and 1.
Put your hands there, you got one. Either that or just hope it sticks in your face mask.
Yahtzee.
Pass caught by Richardson. They're going to have to use their last timeout.
That's what happens when you throw the inside routes. When they burn their 2nd timeout, that was the right thing. There you catch another slant in the middle of the field. He's tackled immediately, and you have to then burn the 3rd. So now they've got to be real careful. Trying to get a completion, get it into field goal range, and still have time to spike it and get your field goal unit onto the field.
Well, it would be a 61-yard try from this spot, which would be 3 yards longer than the career long for the 9-year pro Hauschka.
I think they've got to get something to the sidelines, Joe. So if they complete it, the receiver is going out of bounds. They'd be hard pressed to catch it in bounds and still be able to get the clock stopped.
This one is incomplete. Graham was the target. Now 9 seconds remain. 2nd and 10.
Well, they bring the Alec Ogletree knowing that, hey, we're not going to let Wilson sit in the pocket and survey the field. Do something to force him to get the ball out quick. Right idea by Seattle. Get the ball into their hands, on that route and get him out of bounds, but unable to catch it.
Wilson, Quinn on his back, ball's out. Donald can't pick it up. Johnson can. And that's how the first half comes to an end. Robert Quinn, a 6th-year pro out of North Carolina, a guy who had 19 sacks in 2013. Coming off a back operation, and he was on the back of Russell Wilson. And this good Rams defense makes a play to end the half. 6-3 LA. Kurt and the guys, all yours on the Visa Halftime.
Full game replays, you can replay entire games, which gives you more football. Start your free trial at NFL.com/Game Pass.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Today's excitement is brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. Today's excitement brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. And there is LeBron James with a rather small crown. The 6-3 game. Start of the second half is just around the corner, and welcome back to the broadcast booth. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Aaron Andrews is down on the field, and let's talk offense. We haven't seen much. In fact, these two teams so far through a game and a half this season, 36 total drives, 1 touchdown. Something's got to give here.
Yeah, you know, I think that, as you said, both these offenses struggled in week 1. Were not as good as you would have expected. I think coming into this game, based on the defenses that they were facing, it was going to be a challenge. So I don't hold anything against the offense as far as what's happened up to this point. I think something worth bringing up, though, is, you know, they did spend a #1 pick overall on Jared Goff, and if the offense is not going to do more, you know, he is the backup right now. Not that I'm thinking they're going to take him out of this ball game. They're leading 6-3, but at what point, if the offense doesn't get something going, you know, do they give this young man an opportunity? I'm of the mind that you let them play and then you let them take their lumps and their bruises. That's what I went through. That's what others have been through. But Jeff Fisher has said he's going to bring him along slowly, but we'll see.
So much to talk about with regard to Goff. Meanwhile, you look at the numbers after a half. Paul Richardson is waiting for the kick in a 6-3 game. Drive will start at the 25. With that, we go down to Aaron Andrews.
Well, so much to cover down here. Let's start with the Rams. Jeff Fisher telling me if we're going to put any points on the board, it's because of Todd Gurley. We're going to have to ride him out here. He also mentioned, look, Russell Wilson obviously not mobile enough, but he can still throw the ball, so let's be careful of those big plays. Now let's talk about Seattle. Tyler Lockett, questionable to return, of course, with the knee injury, but Pete Carroll telling me going into the locker room, we've got to get the run game going. That's going to be hard, guys, because Thomas Rawls is questionable to return with a leg injury. Pete, or Joe and Troy.
Thank you, Aaron. So Pete Carroll, hands on knees, wondering how healthy this team's going to be when they leave LA. It's Christine Michael. Like to get him going. With Aaron's report focusing on the ground game, and Ogletree makes a stop after a gain of 5.
Well, Joe, I do think that they're still in good hands with Christine Michael. I know what Thomas Rawls is, and he's an explosive, dynamic guy when he's healthy, but Christine Michael, when they picked him up in December last year, he really picked up the load, you know, for this offense, and I thought what he did even last weekend was very good. He's come a long way from when he was first selected to come to Seattle.
2nd down and 5. Michael again. Robert Quinn helps on the stop. He had Ogletree there with him, and another. Quinn made that play at the end of the first half, by the way. That went as a turnover as he forced the fumble. It was recovered by Tremaine Johnson. That's the way the first half ended. Now Seattle, first possession of this second half, faced with a 3rd and 2.
Tight fan, tight toe. Tight toe.
First down and more. Michael slips down as he crossed the 40. He takes it out to the 44. Johnson there to tap him down, but they've just handed it off 3 times, and they have a fresh set of downs. That's good for 13.
Well, he hits it. You know, the offensive line comes off, they do their job, and then he hits it right off the tackle, and there's a nice seam in order for him to get through, and he's able to break a tackle. And I tell you, I like what I've seen of him. I think he's a physical runner. He's not quite as physical as what Thomas Rawls is. He's got the speed to get on the edge. I think he's a fine runner.
Wilson goes down in the arms of William Hayes. And a sack for this Rams defense, a loss of 8.
William Hayes, he opened up this game with a nice play on Russell Wilson, and he does once again. They've got Christine Michael, it looked like, over there helping him out, and he's able to work his way through that. It's a nice job. I mean, I know in talking with Jeff Fisher about Hayes and where he is and what he's meant to this defense, he thinks he is the perfect guy to be playing that left defensive end position.
2nd down and 18. Wilson ducks down and now just flips it for a completion, albeit a short one, to Luke Wilson, his 3rd catch of the season. Gain of 5, 3rd and long coming up.
Seems like the Seattle Seahawks, they've faced a few 3rd and longs. here today.
Well, 2 or more sacks in 11 straight games for this Rams D against Seattle's offense. They got Russell Wilson 10 times last season.
Liz. Hey, go.
Twice today, 3rd and 13.
Hey, go. Liz. Hey, go.
Wilson got a long way to go and won't get there. Slides down in midfield. 4th down coming up as Barron was there to tap down Wilson.
Good scheme there by the Los Angeles Rams. They bring Maurice Alexander off the edge, but it's still just a 4-man rush. But they keep a free defender in the middle of the field in case Russell Wilson started to scramble. You see LaMarcus Joyner, he was there. Mark Barron as well. So eyes were on Russell in terms of making sure he was not able to leave the pocket and pick up the 1st down running.
Lost it for a moment, ends up giving away a good punt over the head of Austin, and that'll be tapped down near the 5 by Tyvis Powell. Take a break, come back. Rams will have it. They also have a 3-point lead early on. 2nd half of the Coliseum.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Well, the drive will start at the 5 in Case Keenum. They've aired it out a little more in this game, but 8 of 11 under 10. 2 for 4, 50%. When he's gone downfield 20 or more yards. Handoff is to Gurley. And over the left side, a gain of 3.
Well, that's a good start there on 1st down. We heard Erin Andrews when she visited with Jeff Fisher saying, hey, if we're going to score some points, it's got to go through Todd Gurley just like it did last year. And on 1st down, backed up at the 5-yard line to be able to hand it off, pick up, 3 yards, but at least give yourself a little more room to operate for Case Keenum.
Now 2nd down. Play action. Keenum down the sideline. Got a man, Britt. Flag is down back at the 19.
Sean Shedd, that's where the flag came out.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 35. That foul is declined. The result of the play, 1st down.
36-yard completion to Kenny Britt.
Well, it's a perfectly thrown ball, and you get man coverage pressed on the outside. You're backed up, and you like that as a quarterback, so you don't have to sit back there and hold it when you're backed up against your own goal line, and you can hit that 5th step, let it go, give your guy a shot, and Britt's able to haul it in.
Here's Gurley left side, breaks 1. KJ Wright on the stop. After Gurley took off left and picked up 9. Gurley's been better as the quarters have progressed. In his young career, he's averaged under 2.5 yards per carry in the 1st quarter. Better every quarter until overthrow 6.5 in the 4th quarter as Thomas Rawls will now go in, and that doesn't look good at all. So this guy will wear you down. Todd Gurley, 2nd and 1.
Lock it.
Keenum to the sideline, not there. Now 3rd down and 1. Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Glad you're with us today on Fox. Week 2 action. A lot of interesting scores that have been flying past. This is 0-1 meeting 1-0. And here in the Rams home opener in 2016, a 3-point lead. See if they can get a 1st down.
Single.
Gurley's got it. They had missed on 5 straight 3rd down attempts, and Gurley is good for 4 and a 1st down.
Good movement there in that offensive front. Then Todd Gurley, he just goes and gets it. That's like an inside middle drill, and training camp, you see just who's going to win, who's going to get lower on the blocks, defensive front, they're going to be able to submarine it. But Todd Gurley, he goes up over the top, picks up the first down.
Here he is. This time the Seattle defense stands him up, a gain of a couple.
Well, clearly the Rams, where they're at right now in this drive, they want to come away with some points on this possession. But if they don't, this has been a heck of a drive, really, to at least come off the 5-yard line and reestablish, field positions, swap field positions. So that's a good job to get the ball out to here from where this drive began.
2nd down and 8. Cunningham will try to cut it back and take it to the 40. Cam Chancellor is there for Seattle, as he often is. A gain of 2, 3rd down coming up.
So these 3rd downs have been challenging once again for the Rams. As we said last week, not very good. Of course, the Seattle defense, they've always been good on 3rd down. They're very difficult to convert these and keep drives going.
Rams are 5 for 22 converting 3rd down so far this season. A stunt up front and they get home. Sacked by Frank Clark. And a big stop for the Seattle defense on 3rd down.
I talked about Frank Clark earlier, and he's right in the middle, and he just takes it. He just does an outstanding job of just beating the man, and Case Keenum has no chance. Tim Barnes is trying to snap and then get over. He's getting a little help from his right guard, Cody Wickman, but just nothing that Case Keenum could do in that situation.
That is not just the first time Keenum's been sacked, it's the first time he's been hit. And over end with Richard Sherman waiting for it, and the catch back near the 10. Well, a lot of action in the middle of the field. Frank Clark with a big sack on 3rd down to force a punt. Seahawks have it, down 3. Look at the quarterback comparison, pretty even. And Russell Wilson with that sprained right ankle has been certainly limited. Also limited by this good Rams defense. We're starting field position for Seattle. Michael trying to do something about it. Good start to the drive, as Kristen Michael went around Alec Ogletree and picks up 10.
That's about as impressive a 10-yard run as you're going to see, too. They did just about everything on this run. He hits it in the middle. He's got some shake to be able to get on the outside, and then he plants his foot in the ground, showing his quickness to get going north and south to finish this run. That's excellent work.
Well, this has always been, can't say always, but since 2012, the best rushing attack in the NFL. Michael right side gets the edge. And Kristen Michael going to hop out of bounds as the ground game starts to pick it up for a team that's been #1 in the NFL over the last 4 years running it.
Well, this is what I was talking about earlier in the game with regards to Kristen Michael. We saw him a play earlier, run between the tackles. We see him finish runs. He's physical. And then this time he's able to use his speed in order to get on the edge. And then Jimmy Graham with just enough to help him. And of course, Jimmy Graham, when he came here last year, having to block more than he did in New Orleans. But Kristen Michael, I like him as a runner, what he's shown last year and then this year.
Now a rookie gets the ball. That's Alex Collins, a 5th-round pick out of Arkansas, and he lost a yard. Let's go to Kurt with a game break.
Well, Tampa Bay turned the ball over 3 times in the first half. We're down 24-0, but maybe they can stage a comeback. Jameis Winston to Mike Evans, 19-yard score. It's now 24-7. A lot of time left in the 3rd quarter. Joe throwing Aaron.
Especially with that offensive attack. Jameis Winston and then Tampa Bay.
Man, box.
Aerial assault. They were good in week 1. 2nd and 11. On the ground again with the rookie again, Collins, and he is stood up. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Here comes Kristen Michael back in. I know you said it, but he's really grown up. Kristen Michael, a former second-round pick out of Texas A&M. Obviously high hopes in Seattle, was stuck behind Marshawn Lynch, was cut, signed by the Cowboys, cut, back with Pete Carroll, and he's starting to figure it out.
Well, he has figured it out, and he had to. I think he was on the verge of running himself right out of the league. So he's a different guy when he went back to Seattle, and it's nice to see Seattle, who spent the second-round pick on him, starting to reap some of the benefits.
Now 3rd down and 10. Wilson throws on the run, incomplete. Well covered was Curse. There were 2 Rams on him, and this Rams defense really playing at a high level for Greg Williams.
It's just it's hard on both of these offenses when you get into 3rd and long and trying to pick these 3rd downs up. That's why neither team has really been all that good on this down and distance, but just nowhere to go with the football, and the Rams defense makes another stop.
Maurice Alexander was there with Joyner. And the 5th punt of the afternoon for John Ryan. Austin, a fair catch, hauls it in inside the 15. And a good punt by Ryan. 51 yards, nothing on the return. The ball's marked at the 13, where the Rams have it up 3.
LTV Advance, the Next Gen Network.
We'll get into the Rams offensive situation here as the drive starts at the 13. The LA up by 3. Play action with Keenum. Pass for Austin is caught out near the 40. Working on Chancellor. And a completion of 27 yards. A good start to the drive.
Yeah, it really was. And we saw this completion earlier in the game. They run Tavon Austin across the field, and you see, and really Cam Chancellor, who's in coverage, is not that bad because of Tavon Austin's speed, but good protection, and you have to have that if you're going to allow a guy, regardless of how fast he might be, to get all the way across to the outside of the numbers along that sideline. It's well executed play.
Single.
Here's Gurley right side, and there's Sherman, who is known, Troy, for his coverage skills, but he can tackle. And Sherman is there to bring him down after a gain of 3.
Well, it's very unusual to have a guy that's as good a cover corner as Richard Sherman. And, you know, a couple years ago I started noticing it, and he comes up, all these guys hit. But for Richard Sherman to be a guy who jumps in there and makes tackles, I know in talking to Pete Carroll, he believes he's the best tackling corner in football, and combine that with the fact he may be the best cover corner in football, it's really saying a lot.
Goff watching the backup quarterback, 2nd and 7. Keenum gets rid of it, has a man, a 1st down. Pass is caught by Brian Quick. Brian Quick was drafted in the 2nd round in 2012 to be the big downfield threat. It hasn't happened yet. This one good for 9 and a 1st down.
Off that play action, and he gets it out. He knows he's going to get hit. He sticks in there and delivers the football. I think, like he talked to us about, he's trusting what he's seeing. He's making some really good throws on this drive, which began on the 13-yard line. They've been backed up the last 2 possessions, and they've been able to get off to midfield in each one of them.
Here's Gurley. Clark in there to make the stop. A gain of 1. So back to Jared Goff as the Rams gave up 6 picks. 3rd round or better for the rights to move up from 15th to 1st to draft Jared Goff, taken out of Cal, and he's gone from inactive to backup, and at some point here onto the field.
He's a guy who never took snaps under center. He never had to call a play in the huddle, and that's a big learning curve then when you're not used to even calling plays. They would just flash a card on the sidelines and that spread offense, and then often they would snap the ball and off they would go. And so he's had to try to learn a lot. And Jeff Fisher has said he is going to take his time developing this young man.
Timeout, Seattle. Minute left, 3rd quarter, 6-3 game. 2 good defenses on display. Nice drive being put together by the Rams. It started at their own 13. 2nd and 9. Keenum Sideline pass is caught by Britt, and the catch is good at the 29.
It looks pretty good to me. They go trips to one side, one receiver to the left. That's Britt. He's one-on-one on Deshaun Shedd, and then the back shoulder fade. And it was close, but sure looked to me, Joe, like he got his feet in bounds. And apparently, Pete Carroll agrees.
18 yards for number 18, first down. Tavon Austin gets it. KJ right in his face, and out of bounds he goes. This offensive line, there are question marks coming in, but they have done a good job of protecting Case Keenum, only been sacked once.
Well, I think they were embarrassed last week on Monday night. That group, really they believe is one of the strengths of this team, but they sure didn't show it last week. Some of that, Rob Havenstein, the tackle, he didn't play throughout the offseason and through preseason, and they had to move some people around, but they did not have a good showing, but they have improved dramatically here today.
Well, what's it going to be in quarter number 4? That's where we're headed. 6-3 LA. Back here after this from your local Fox station. Well, you remember the greatest show on turf, quarterbacked by Kurt Warner. It's been a long time since. 16 starting quarterbacks since Kurt last started for them, September of 2003. It's the third highest total in the NFL behind Cleveland and Oakland, and soon it will be 17 when Jared Goff takes over. But you see the success, the otherworldly success under Kurt Warner, and it has not been good since for the Rams. Trying to get a win in their home opener in 2016. Gurley at the top of the formation on 2nd and 12. Keenum's going to slide through and make it inside the 25. Third down coming up. Bobby Wagner on the tackle.
And Joey, though, you talk about those quarterbacks that they've had all those years since Kurt Warner, and Jared Goff, when he does get his opportunity, they gave up a lot. Some people around the league, many people around the league will say they gave up too much, and we'll see what his career ultimately looks like. If he is the guy they think he is, then all will be good in Los Angeles. If he's not, those moves like that set you back about another good 10 years.
Hey, just
third down and 5.
Chilling.
Big third down here. Benny Cunningham incomplete as they tried to get him out of the backfield. There wasn't much there anyway. And it's 4th down with Zerline coming on to try to make it a 6-point game.
Yeah, not much there. Cassius Marsh, the third-year player out of UCLA, who had a really nice game last week, he was in pursuit, and that's where he got in trouble last week. He gave up a 50-yard completion by not coming out on a running back that left the backfield when he should have been in coverage, and that was his guy again there. But he learned from last week they weren't going to go very far even if they had completed it.
42-yard try for Greg Zerline. Well, this is big. Let's see who it's it against. It's 4th and 5. Both sides saying it's against the other, and it's against LA.
Number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So now a 47-yard try. If it's online, this kid has got plenty of leg. Nicknamed Greg the Leg, played at Missouri Western, 28 years old. He's got 16 career field goals of 50 or more. This one at 47. Good snap, good hold, and good kick.
Well, Greg the Leg gets to keep his nickname.
He does. He's 3 for 3 today. Has all the points for the Rams, who lead by 6. Well, the kickoff is coming. Case Keenum has another drive stall, but the Rams are up by 6, 9-3 with 14-10 left in the Rams home opener. And for Los Angeles in this franchise, they will take one any way they can get it as they try to win for the 4th time in the last 5 tries against their divisional rival, the Seahawks. That's why they call him Greg the Leg, Troy. Jay Glazer's hanging out in the studio, and you've got more on Jared Goff. What's up, Jay?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, look, I know everybody's been clamoring for Jared Goff to get put in, but Jeff Fisher all along, he has wanted to look at him like he is the future. Remember with Steve McNair when he drafted him, he waited 2 years to put Steve McNair in. And Troy, you've hit it on the head. The issue is that Goff just has not been in a huddle. He's not been under center, and he's still having some issues, even with the center-quarterback exchange during practice. He wants to make sure he's really protected before he puts him in there.
I know you've got more. We'll try to get back to you after a first down play here for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Now you talk about the Rams offense. Seattle hasn't been lighting it up either. 15 points in 7 quarters, and they start with a throw and a completion to Jermaine Kearse. How about more on Russell Wilson, Jay Glazer?
Guys, you can see how banged up Russell Wilson is. I tell you what, though, after last week's game, they looked at it like it would be a long shot for him to play this week. He has a high ankle sprain. That's a 2 to 4 week injury. He didn't take off 2 to 4 days. It is amazing that Russell Wilson's even able to be out there today. As much as he seems to be limited, I tell you what, it's incredible. He's out there. He was really banged up all week long. Swelling, though, subsided.
Jay, thanks. 2nd down and 8. This one floated for Baldwin too far. And Maurice Alexander was the closest one to it. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson found his name on the injury list for the first time. And as you said, Troy, he's never even missed a practice. And he was under some pressure here by the end of it.
Well, you can tell he's throwing very flat-footed. I mean, when have you ever seen Russell Wilson just sit in the pocket and hang like that with heavy legs and feet? And it's clear that it's bothering him. We have seen him get outside the pocket, not at the regularity that you're accustomed to, but he has scrambled some up the middle. But he's having to operate within a different game than he's used to.
3rd down and 8. Opportunity to run. The opportunity is over, and it's Ogletree who makes the play. And no doubt slowed down by that ankle. Russell Wilson, 5 carries, 14 yards, and it's 4th down for Seattle.
Well, this is a good look. I mean, I think Russell Wilson probably makes him miss, and he gave up there at the end of that play. And so, hey, I applaud him for going out there and playing. He's doing all that he can. This team needs him. They've got Trevon Boykin as their backup, and as a young undrafted rookie, and he could come in and execute the plays, but he's not Russell Wilson.
Line drive punt. Austin on the move. Makes a couple miss, but cannot turn it into much. Deshaun Shedd on the stop. Just a 2-yard return, but there were some thrills and eventually a spill at the end of it for Tavon. Rams have it up 6.
A's Game on Fox is sponsored by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach. And by Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL.
Beautiful hot day, Southern California. Rams have the football and trying to win their opener, leading by 6, starting at the 32. Keenum throws downfield. Kendricks. He's incomplete. Late call as the officials came together and determined that Lance Kendricks did not get both feet down. We'll give it a look.
Yeah, it was a heck of a catch. We'll see whether or not he was able to secure it. Nope, he's out. So that was a good call by the official. But a nice grab, nevertheless. You see his right foot goes down. His knee hits before the left foot gets in.
I think the crowd just goaded Jeff Fisher into a challenge. The crowd reacted. They showed it on the video board here, and the Rams have challenged.
Los Angeles is challenging the rule of the field of an incomplete pass.
Right foot down, knee out of bounds. We'll get the official call when we come back. Rams challenge the call on the field. Well, Mike Pereira, what'd you see down the street in the studio on this call?
Well, I'm not far from you guys, but I see much the same thing. Watch the right shin. Does it get down right about the same time the knee does? Ruling on the field was incomplete. I would have to think it would have to stay incomplete as called on the field.
Say this, it's taken a long time under the hood. Let's get the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called incomplete pass. Los Angeles is charged their first challenge and his first timeout of the game.
Would have been a 23-yard completion. Kendricks made a great effort, just could not complete the catch before heading out of bounds. And now 2nd and 10, each side with 2 timeouts left.
Well, we've seen Kendricks get involved in some of the passing game here this afternoon. I know they really like him. Some of the things he's able to do, we've seen that today in his ability to create some separation. Unfortunately for him, they've had to use him so much in the past as a blocker that he hasn't been able to catch the ball as much as they would like for him to.
Play clock down to 2. 2nd and 10. Keenum fires. Pass is broken up, but flags. Chancellor in coverage on Kendricks.
Well, it's one-on-one, Cam Chancellor, and another one of those that we saw earlier where the coverage is good.
Pass
He's running
interference.
stride for stride.
Defense, number 31.
But
Foul, automatic, first down.
Yeah, because the ball is underthrown, it just puts the defender in a real tough position to try to turn and make a play on the ball, and it's almost always going to be pass interference.
24-yard penalty for a first down inside the 45 at the Seattle 44. Handoff is to Gurley. Second-year pro's got a first down as he carries it for 11. The Rams are confident when they play Seattle, and the young man Todd Gurley was confident coming into this game. We're going to get a win this week for sure, doing what he can as he makes this carry. The Rams are now inside field goal range for Zerline. In a good position here, leading by 6.
He keeps making cuts like that. He's going to help their chances of coming away with a win. That was a nice job on his part.
On first down, they fake it to him. Now Keenum can't afford a sack, and there's Bennett. Averill first there, but Bennett mocks the sack dance of Robert Quinn. And a loss of 9.
Yeah, big mistake here by Case Keenum. Granted, he's got Bennett up in his face, but he's got to keep on the move, and then you can unload it. Once you pull up and you've got Bennett in your face, you can't really do much. Or Bennett comes from the backside. It was Averill who got up in his face, but if Keenum stays out on the edge, he's at least able to unload it, because with that sack, you knock yourself out of field goal range, and 3 points here would be huge the way this game has been played.
Here's Austin trying to set up a screen for him. KJ Wright makes the stop, a gain of just 2. Now a big third down coming up. College football kicks off Friday. USC, they call this place home. They take on Utah. 8:30 Eastern on FS1, and continues Saturday. Boise State battles Oregon State at 3:30 on FS1. Then Oklahoma State faces 21st ranked Baylor at 7 Eastern on Fox. 3rd and 17 for Case Keenum and the Rams offense. Quick snap. Keenum is going to get knocked down again. And the ball is at the 41. You're looking at the outer edge of field goal range for Zerline, and we'll see if Jeff Fisher wants to try it. Frank Clark made the play for Seattle. It's a 59-yard try from this spot. The way his defense is playing, Jeff Fisher may elect, and he will, to just punt it away.
See, you take a look at Jeff Fisher, and like I said, he's a guy who calls a lot of fakes. I think the way his defense is playing, he'll punt it here, but no, here he comes. If they don't get it, they still back him up, and they're not giving up much. So not a bad call here by Jeff Fisher.
And with that, if nothing else, a flag flies. I'm going to say maybe Seattle takes the timeout.
5-yard penalty.
Instead, all
Still
that
fourth
movement
down.
just produced a delay of game. And so now in what is a one-score game, that was a big play defensively by Averill and Bennett. They get the sack, and now Seattle's hanging in there down by 6.
No, it was a huge play on that possession. And to turn this into a 9-point game would be huge in a 2-possession game, the way that Seattle has struggled to move the football offensively.
Sherman with a fair catch after a 37-yard punt. Seattle has it down 6.
Game is sponsored by Xbox One, the ultimate games and 4K entertainment system.
Pete Carroll pumped up for his defense as they make a stand. The Rams had a 1st and 10 at their Seahawks 33, but then went backward. The offense has done little or nothing today for Seattle. Starting at the 9, it's Christine Michael, left side, nowhere to go. Exit backward and down. A loss of 2. Joyner was there, but he wasn't alone. 2nd and 12.
They've got him backed up. Greg Williams, defensive coordinator, is really called a nice game here today. He's had him bottled up, but don't count Russell Wilson out. We've seen this time after time in the 4th quarter and him lead his team to a victory. We saw it just last weekend against the Miami Dolphins.
2nd and 12, over the middle. Pass is caught. That's Graham with a big 1st down. A little breathing room for Seattle as a 15-yarder to Jimmy Graham comes at a good time.
That was strong hands right there by Jimmy Graham, because that ball was contested and he's able to haul it in. And Russell Wilson is taking some hits in this ball game.
1st down at the 23. Sideline. Curse. Flag down. And again, they work on Troy Hill. And it's against Seattle. And that's what got Carroll so hot.
Offense, number 15. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
That is the 3rd offensive pass interference call against Pete Carroll's Seahawks. Pete was so mad he ended up slamming into his own receiver, Jermaine Kearse.
Unlike the other one in the 1st half, this one was on the sidelines of Seattle. You see enough of it there at the top to really tell exactly if there was a push-off or not.
First and 20 now. All alone is Kristen Michael. And a nice pickup on 1st and 20.
A long down and yardage situation. But let's go back and take another look at the top of this route by Jermaine Kearse. And that, you know, he does extend the arm, and that's really what the official's looking for. And these guys don't have to do that. It wasn't much, but they see that extension and they're going to call it. And you know, Pete was right there. He didn't think it affected the defender at all.
The former defensive back. Pass is caught. That's good for a 1st down by Richardson. So no harm, no foul as Russell Wilson and the Seahawks get it right back.
Yeah, and this is where Russell Wilson really is at his best. Even last week at the end of the 1st half, the end of the game, when they have to start going, even though there's plenty of time on the clock, you can sense the urgency. You can sense them getting the ball snapped and getting into a rhythm, and this is when he's dangerous.
Here's one down the sideline and incomplete for Richardson. Russell Wilson's been in the NFL since 2012, and Troy since then. 14 wins for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks when trailing in the 4th quarter. That is the most in the NFL. He's got 19 game-winning drives. If you count 4th quarter and overtime, that's the most, and it includes the postseason. Any way you look at it, including overall winning percentage, it's been an incredible start for number 3.
It's been an amazing start to his career, and it's only going to continue to get better. And now, like I said, when he first came into the league, he was regarded a bit as a game manager. They got Marshawn Lynch, great defense. Last year, I thought, is when he really kind of emerged and took the next step in people seeing him as a different quarterback, as someone who could beat you with his arm, as he had to do. And then that's the way it's going to be going forward.
Last week he got the win. A couple of 4th down conversions on that final drive. 75-yard drive, 14 plays, and the 2-yarder to Doug Baldwin for the victory at home over Miami. As you say, the great ones, when it's on the line, they make it happen.
And what happens with that, when you have that kind of track record, those guys in that huddle, they believe in them. They know number 3 is going to find a way. And like you said a moment ago, it hasn't just been in regular season. He's had these comebacks on the biggest stage, you know, in some of these postseason games, and he's pretty dynamic.
2nd and 10. Pass is incomplete. That's Baldwin, who has been shut out after going 2 catches for 15 yards early in the 2nd quarter, 0 since then.
It's a ball he normally catches. He wasn't going very far with it, even if he did catch it, but facing now another 3rd and long.
3rd down and 10. Meanwhile, Tyler Lockett is back on the field, and he'll be at the top of your screen.
Well, right now, they're not giving any help. Cody Sensabaugh up top.
Pass is caught, but short of a 1st down. And it's Baldwin. Now they say incomplete as the ball came out at the end. A bang-bang play, and Baldwin did not hang on, and it's Joyner who made the hit. And Baldwin's slow to get up. It's 4th down.
Well, that's one thing we know of this Rams secondary, is they will come up and they will put a hit on you. And he was short of the 1st down. You wonder if Pete Carroll would have gone for it there had he have been able to catch it. Still a lot of time on the clock. 2 minutes or 2 timeouts left for Seattle.
So Baldwin will come out. That ball came out when Baldwin hit the ground. They determined in the process of making the catch. Joyner's really had a good game. LaMarcus Joyner, former 2nd-round pick in 2014, 3rd-year pro. He's the one who delivered the blow. And it's 4th down with 6:41 left. And Tavon Austin waiting, looking to hit a home run back there deep for LA. Over end, high hanging punt. Austin will give it a go, and he got hit hard. Nico Thorpe, who was just added to the active roster, flags are down. Appears to be against the Rams, and it is.
During the kick, holding number 46 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Los Angeles keeps the ball. 1st down. Timeout.
Well, it's been a frustrating day for Pete Carroll back at the Coliseum, where he roamed the sidelines for USC. His Seahawks down by 6. 6.5 to go. Call was against Corey Harkey for that hold. And it's a big deal. Seattle didn't score on that drive, but they flipped the field position. That last drive started at their own 9. Now the Rams up by only 6, start at the 11, and they hand it to Gurley, and he loses yardage. First guy there was Michael Bennett, who's had a nice game.
Michael Bennett and Jaron Reed, and Reed's a rookie out of Alabama, 2nd-year player, got a lot of snaps, played about half the snaps last week, and he is a load in the middle, and I know Pete Carroll loves him, and he came into this league, as you would imagine, being coached by Nick Saban and mature beyond his years, and he's been a real contributor now in the last 2 ball games. You've got to believe if they're going to pick up a 1st down, it's going to have to be through the air. I can't imagine them running Gurley and picking up 1st downs against this defense.
Bennett came across early. Late flag, passes caught. Kenny Britt. Flag is down, looks to be against Bennett. That'd be a big completion to Britt.
Defense, number 72. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
18-yard completion again to Kenny Britt.
And it didn't even look like that Keenum had used any type of hard count there. I think Bennett was just trying to anticipate the snap and went too soon. But like I said, they're able to get a good completion here. Now they'll come back, run the ball to Gurley on first down and see what happens.
You called it. There's Gurley, left side, cuts upfield and can make it to the 30. Tomorrow, Gotham is back with new episodes and new faces. Madness and monsters rule the streets. As heroes and villains clash for control of the city, a new season of Gotham begins tomorrow, right here on Fox. 2nd down and 8 from the 30. 5 to play. The Rams going to win their opener as they return to the Coliseum for the first time since 1979 and to LA for the first time since 1994. 2nd and 8. Gurley, nothing. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, they got a pretty good gain, decent gain anyway on first down, 3 yards. So you come back, run it again, see what might happen. The Seattle Seahawks definitely overloading the box. They are not going to let them run for the first down. Make them throw it here, and we'll see whether or not the Seahawks want to try to dial something up to make Keenum get the ball out of his hands quickly.
3rd down and 8. Rubin made that last stop.
Hey, drag! Go!
Pressure, pass, caught for a first down, Kenny Britt. And a big conversion for Case Keenum and the Rams.
It's the best throw of the day for Case Keenum. He hangs in. He knows he's going to get hit right in the face. Bobby Wagner is right there, as is Cliff Averill, but he hangs in the pocket. He's got Britt on a crossing route, one-on-one on Deshaun Shedd. He lays it right there. That's as good as it gets for Case Keenum in this ballgame.
And now a penalty flag.
12 in the huddle. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Stops the clock, and it marches Jeff Fisher's team back just 5 yards.
Yeah, just too many penalties. Too many penalties for both teams in this game. But for the Rams, 10 penalties over 100 yards last Monday night. The penalties they've had today. It's hard to have winning football when you're getting penalized the way that they have been.
1st and 15.
Got you. Like 20. So.
Hand off to Gurley. Gets 1.5 yards. Meanwhile, if you think about Jeff Fisher and what's on the line here, I mean, it talks about a contract extension for Jeff Fisher, general manager Les Snead. Fisher has gone 27, 37, and 1, the 58-year-old in his 5th year. And whether it's owner Stan Kroenke bringing this organization back out to Los Angeles, they're building a $2.6 billion facility and real estate development in Inglewood. There's a lot on the line, and this team's got to turn their fortunes around because there has not been enough winning for the Rams.
Well, this was a big game after laying the egg on Monday night. This is a big game with 90,000 people here to support this team.
2nd and 13. That's in the air, and Keenum will watch it drop to the grass.
Well, this is interesting now with 3rd down and long. What is Jeff Fisher going to decide to do if they're going to try to pick this thing up? And for the Seattle Seahawks defense, as good as they've been, they've held the Rams to just 9 points. We've talked about it. When you're a great defense like they are, you have to make stops when the game dictates you having to make a stop. This is that down right here.
3rd down and 13.
Hey, drag.
Keenum is going to suffer a sack, but a flag on it. It's Cassius Marsh, and they may flag him for too much with Keenum, which would be an automatic first down. Let's see.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask. Defense, number 91. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
If he got him, Joe, I think it's going to be subtle. It looked like maybe his left hand. I mean, it wasn't much. It's hard to tell if he even had a hold of it. I don't even know if he did, how the official might have even been able to see that. I didn't quite see a grab. Here's another look at it.
We got his hands inside the face mask. I think that's a good call.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. That's going to be one that's talked about, and I thought Keenum did a good job not throwing it away to keep the clock running, but instead they got a new set of downs.
That's the 8th Seattle penalty. Here's Gurley. It nullifies the sack, the penalty on Cassius Marsh, who made, as you said, 2 big plays in the 4th quarter last week. But Pete Carroll has been screaming, stomping, bumping into guys over on that sideline.
I think on that one there, Joe, I think he was trying to call timeout. I believe it was about 2:24 on the clock when that play ended. He was trying to call timeout. He couldn't get the official's attention to get it done, and 6 seconds ran off. And you know, that would make any coach upset. But yeah, Pete's been pretty worked up throughout this game on some of those calls, and that last one, believe me, that one's going to be looked at pretty heavily, and I can see where it could have gone either way.
2nd down and 6. The clock will stop at the 2-minute warning, and Seattle has one more timeout. I think anytime you see the hand inside the face mask, I don't disagree with you, but you see the head turn. That's why the official threw the flag. It's not a surprising flag.
And the reaction to the helmet, it looked like it was being pulled. I mean, they're not looking at it in slow motion like we are.
2nd down and 6. Here's Gurley. Gurley's going to lose yardage back to the original line of scrimmage, and a flag is down.
And that's big for the Seattle Seahawks.
It would be interesting. It's a hold against LA, but a decision. I don't know that you want to give the Rams another down. You may decline this penalty and take your chances with a 3rd and long instead of giving him an extra down. Let's see what Pete Carroll wants to do, and they're going to decline it.
Holding, offense, number 73. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, 3rd down.
And that stops the clock with 2 minutes, 11 seconds left. So that's a big penalty.
That's the biggest part of this, is that because of the penalty, it stops the clock, and Pete likely would have called timeout. You know, and then you use a 2-minute warning, but instead they're able to preserve one of their timeouts and force a 3rd and long here.
Yep, there's still action in this game. 3rd and 10. 4-man rush. Keenum throws. Kendricks short of the 1st down. And the game clock will go down to the 2-minute warning, and it'll be 4th down for Jeff Fisher and the Rams on offense. The reaction from Cassius Marsh. Big call against him. 6-point game.
Walmart. Save money. Live better.
Well, here's the punt for Johnny Hecker. Don't take the fake totally out of your mind, but they play it straight. Fair catch called for by Lockett. And I'll say this. I think each sideline has the game where they want it to a certain extent. Pete Carroll has Russell Wilson going to work. The Rams have their defense on the field, and Troy, that defense has been in the face of Russell Wilson since they kicked this thing off just after 1 o'clock.
Well, they've gotten after him pretty good, and he knows that when you face the Rams, that's what's going to happen. That defensive front is awfully challenging. I would not get too comfortable if you're saying, or if you're the Los Angeles Rams, thinking that, well, Russell Wilson is he's hobbled a little bit. He hasn't been able to run. You know, last week he took off running. He was able to pick up some yards scrambling. But if he's not able to, that plays into the hands of the Los Angeles Rams. But he's got a long way to go, and he's got to come away with a touchdown. He's got 1 timeout to do it in just under 2 minutes.
Seahawks have 113 seconds to get 88 yards. Timeout on the scoreboard, too. Wilson downfield. Pass is caught by Lockett at the 35. Limping his way down the field and working on Troy Hill, good for 53.
That was a great catch by Lockett. He's expecting it to the post. The ball's over his outside shoulder, and he's able to adjust to the ball and make one heck of a catch. Russell Wilson gets it out there, but not where Lockett was expecting it. And who do they target once again? Troy Hill.
There's an injury down on the field, and a timeout is taken. Troy Hill, who was beaten on that play. And I'll say it again, Carroll's got his offense out there. Fisher's got his defense out there. The game hanging in the balance in week 2.
There's another look at it. You're going to see Tyler Lockett, how he just runs by and he's expecting it on the inside. And just to be able to make that kind of adjustment to the ball that far down the field, that's really good. Tyler Lockett, who left the game earlier with a knee injury, showing the wheels that he has. And of course, Russell Wilson has to get it out there far enough to give him a chance. He slid in the pocket, too, to give himself a little bit of time. And, boy, he threw a perfect ball.
Russell Wilson trying to do it again. Each side with one timeout left. Rams had to take one on the injury to Hill. On first down. It is incomplete, and somehow Russell Wilson was able to avoid the sack. Aaron Donald was draped on him.
Aaron Donald gets past Jamarcus Webb, and yeah, it's just Russell Wilson knowing the situation, and it's a good thing there that Christine Michael didn't catch the ball.
Seahawks have not led all day. The offense has struggled, and yet here they are in a position, down by 6.
Hey, double.
Greg Williams, he's showing pressure.
False start.
False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
And the home crowd with an assist. Something the Seahawks get a lot in their loud home. And a flinch. And Robert Quinn is the one who forced it. Quick throw, pass is caught. That's Baldwin. He gets the 5 yards back. 3rd down and 10 coming up with a minute 15 and counting.
Well, one thing when you get on the ball in a hurry up, it's hard then oftentimes for defense to try to communicate a blitz. So they should get some base look defensively with a 4-man rush.
Pass to Michael. Michael, ball's out. Ogletree on it. Rams have it. But it's a turnover. It will be reviewed. Let's watch it again. At regular speed, definitely a catch. When does the ball come out? That ball's out. But they look at it, and it certainly appears, Troy Aikman, like the Rams are going to even their record at 1-1. And they're going to start their home schedule with a victory over their divisional rival.
Well, both these defenses played outstanding football here today, but Mark Barron, the guy who made the move to that linebacker position out of necessity a year ago and was outstanding, he's the one who comes in and knocks the ball loose on Christine Michael to help preserve this win for the Los Angeles Rams in front of 90,000 plus who were on their feet cheering this entire drive. And just great job by this defensive group and defensive coordinator Greg Williams, and a nice win as a Los Angeles Ram, his first, Jeff Fisher.
He grew up a Rams fan, Jeff Fisher. He played at USC. He coached under John Robinson with the Rams, and Jeff Fisher, as these two teams start to shove after the play. Jeff Fisher's going to get a win here today. And Michael Bennett was in there for Seattle. We'll see who it's against. You think about how quickly things turn. Let's take another look. There's Bennett. And he shoves his hands into the face of the offensive guard, Cody Wickman. We'll get the call. And you said it. How about the word of mouth for those who were in attendance? 91,000 who will leave after about the most thrilling no touchdown game you could ever witness. 9-3 is the score. It looks like that's how it will end.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 72, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Russell Wilson will go to 4-5 in his career now against the Rams. Here's the call against Bennett. And a no-doubter. Meanwhile, you think about, Troy, how things change. I mean, for the Rams, who had that game on Monday night, they get shut out on the road. Nobody expects much out of San Francisco, who played them really well in week 1. First-year head coach Chip Kelly. Well, they come here, they get the victory. If they don't, well, then it's a different story. The game ball, as you said, I think should go to Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator for this Rams team. They've got something going, and that man should be smiling on the sideline because his group really played well. They won the game here today for the LA Rams.
He likes this group. I talked to him on Friday, and he's proud of the players that he has. He has a lot of pieces to work with, but when he's without some, he's about as creative as there is in making the different pieces fit and work, and he adjusts the scheme. He comes after people. He's aggressive. He doesn't apologize for anything, and I agree. I mean, both defenses. Chris Richard should be proud of the job that his group did. No touchdowns in this game, but the Rams come away victorious.
19 penalties in this game, 13 punts, 12 points. The most important thing for the Rams, 9 of those 12 belong to the guys in the throwback uniforms that the Rams wore here. Back is the LA Rams. 1-1 on the season. Congratulations to Jeff Fisher. And Case Keenum, who gets his 4th win as the Rams quarterback. He did enough here today. And they love LA. And right now they love their Rams.